Hello friends, welcome back to another session of Core Java tutorials. Today we'll see classes and objects. Classes and objects are basic concepts of object-oriented programming which revolve around the real-world entities. Class is the logical structure upon which entire Java program is built because it defines the shape and nature of an object. Okay, so class is the basic object-oriented programming construct. So there are certain definitions that I have put on this whiteboard. You can just make a look at it. Classes define a new data type. So classes are also called as user-defined data types. Class is a template for an object. Class is the blueprint for creating objects. So by the class, first you will be creating classes and then later on from the class you will be creating the objects. And class is also called as the prototype for creating objects. Like for example, you can just take a real world analogy. Before constructing the house, we go to the civil engineer and ask him to prepare a plan. The plan is prepared on the paper. So that's what is called as logical construct. Later on, this logical construct will undergo many changes according to the requirements of us, and then finally the blueprint will be finalized and then the blueprint will come into reality, that is a building. So here class is the plan that we have prepared and building is the object. So from this we can conclude that class is the logical construct whereas object is the physical reality. And anything that we see in the world is a real world object and we can program that into Java. And there is another definition here. Class represents the set of properties or methods that are common to all objects of one type. What does this mean? For example, there is human class. So every human being will be having certain properties and methods. The properties are the fields like the color of the human being or the height of the human being, 2 hands, 2 legs and all this, 1 face and 2 ears. So these are all the common properties that the human beings share. And also some methods like the methods are like the human beings, the functionalities that the human beings have. Like they are able to eat, they are able to walk, they are able to run, they are able to think. Okay, so all these are called as the functionalities, common functionalities. We are talking about the common functionalities among all the objects. Next, when an object of a class is created, the class is said to be instantiated. Whenever you use this, whenever an object is created from the class, you say that the class is said to be instantiated. An object is an instance of a class. So we will be using this word object and instance interchangeably because instance or object is same. So an object is an instance of a class. And how many instances can you create from a class? You can create n number of instances from a class, meaning that there will be one prototype human. From one prototype human, you can create n number of human beings. Many human beings can be created. So object have states and behavior. So each and every object will be having a common state and common behavior which will be put inside the class. Once the class is ready, then we will be able to create objects of that class. So this is the simplified general form of the class. When you declare the class, you will be defining the nature and form of the class. The class will be containing data and the code that will act upon the data. The code that acts upon the data are called as methods. So as you can see over here, the class is the combination of data and methods. So because they are inside the class, you will be calling this as data members. You will be calling this as data members and these are called as member functions. Okay, so the methods are called as member functions. So the class will be the combination of data and methods. But there can be a class which can contain only data and there can be a class which contains only methods. But the real world class will contain the data and methods. If a class is having only data or only methods, it's not wrong. It can contain. But the real world class will contain both the data and the methods. So we'll just look into, so any program that you write in Java should be encapsulated in a class. So anything that you write, this is the logical structure. So from this only we'll be creating objects. So the first thing that you need to do is take a real world entity and then make it into a class. And from the class you will be creating objects. As you can see in the red, so I have given class name. So the class is the keyword. So you can create a class only by using the keyword class. So this is the class keyword. Followed by the class name. The class name is given in upper camel case. This I have declared in identifiers. And then inside the class, this blue color thing is called as your data. So the syntax for declaring the data is type and then instance variable 1. Now what does this type mean? This type means that it can be any of the primitive data types or it can also be user defined data types. Okay, not only primitive data types, it can be also user defined data type. It can be another class also. Okay, coming to the instance variable, any variable that you want to name. Okay, the name of the variable. There can be any number of variables. So that's the reason why I said 1, 2, 3 and up to n. There is no restriction on the count of the variables. Whatever you require to be declared in the class, you will be taking them. And then you have the methods. All the green color thing that I have declared are the methods. So what does this methods include? The body of the method will include the code that will act upon this data that we declare. Okay, so the type declares to be the return type of the method, and this is the method name, and then the arguments list or the parameters list that go into the method, and then the body of the method. Okay, so how many methods you can have? You can have n number of methods based on your requirement. Okay, so this is all about the class. Now, as you can observe here, I didn't write the main method inside the class. Any method that you write have got the general form which is similar to the main method. But the thing is, main method is public and static. So public and static methods are very rare in your programs. So that's in a very rare case you will be declaring a method to be public and static. Why I didn't declare main method here is in the general form of class is because there are some applications which do not require main method. For example, applets. Applets do not require main method. Okay, so whenever you need main method, then only you will be including. And when do you include main? When your class is the starting point of the execution, then you will be declaring main method. So that's the reason why I didn't give main method inside the class. Let us take an example and try to construct a class. Let us try to construct a class. Okay, so before constructing the class, let us try to take any real world object. For example, a human being. A human being. Just forget about the class. We'll just try to construct it from this real world object. So human being. So what is the features of the human being? So what are the features of the human being? The features of the human being are like there are 2 eyes for the human beings. There are 2 legs for the human beings. We are talking about the common features. Remember this, friends. Okay, so we are talking about the common features. So there will be 2 eyes, 2 legs, 1 nose, okay, 2 hands. Okay, so these are the features. Okay, and we'll be looking up to the functionalities of the human beings. What are the functionalities of the human beings? The human beings can see, okay, to see objects, okay, to see the world, and to walk. Okay, so this is another functionality, and to smell is another functionality, and to do work, okay, with the hands, okay, to work. So these are all the functionalities. Now see very carefully, friends. These are the features, these are the features, and these are the functionalities. These are the functionalities, and as you can see, the features plus the functionalities together will form your class, and just put a name, just put a class in front of this, which will become your class, your programming class. Okay, so the real world entity is just converted into a class over here. That's the reason object oriented programming is relatively very easy compared to the procedural oriented programming. This feature is nothing but your attributes or your instance variables that I talked about. Okay, so these are your instance variables, attributes or properties. There are many synonymical words that you can say. Okay, properties, attributes or features or instance variables. All these are nothing but the features over here. And the functionalities are nothing but the methods that I talked about. And nothing but they are the member functions. And as you can see, these member functions include the code which will act upon the data. Now to see what is the data that is required, the two eyes is required. To see we need two eyes. So this functionality requires this data. So it acts upon this data. And to walk we need two legs. So this functionality requires this data. And to smell we require a nose. So this functionality will act upon this data. And to work we need two hands. So this functionality will work on this data. So that's it friends. This is the only concept of the class. And we'll see another example. So not only the human beings like the living things, you can also work it on the non-living things. For example, say I'm having a bank. Okay, say I need to develop an application which is banking application. So just put a bank over here. Now think of what are the features that a bank will be holding. So what will be there in the bank? You need to have an account number. And what else? Okay, so address of the bank, where the bank is located. So these are some of the features of the bank. And what are the functionalities that you do going to the bank? We will do withdrawal. Okay, so withdrawing or depositing. Okay, so these are all the functionalities that deposit. Okay, so these are all the functions that will be there. Now combination of your features plus your functions together will form your class, and just to put a keyword class in front of this, which will become your programming, Java programming class. Okay, so this is all about how to create or how to construct a class, friends. Let us construct a dog class. Okay, so my problem statement here is I want to convert the age of the dog into human years. Because the dog's lifetime is only for 15 years. 15 years of the lifetime of dog is equal to 100 years of human beings. So I want to convert this dog age into human years. To do that, I need a function which is age into 7. When you do this, the age of the dog into 7 will give me the age of the dog in human years. So we'll try to do that. Let us consider the common features of dog. So the common features of dog are like dog will be having 2 eyes, okay, 4 legs, and it will be having 1 nose, okay, the age of the dog and the name of the dog, etc. But since I don't require these things, these features, I will not be including them in my program. So it is very important for you to take out unnecessary details. Okay, so since I don't want them, I will not be using them. I only require the age and name of the dog. So I will be having only these 2 features in my program. And plus I need certain functionalities. Okay, so what are the functionalities of a dog? A dog can sniff. Okay, so and according to me, I said like my problem statement, I said like I am going to calculate the age in human years. So I need a method which is called as human years. And the dog can run. Okay, so certain other functionalities which are common functionalities, like okay, so the dog class will be having. But since I don't, in my problem statement, I don't require this sniff, so I will not be including it. So include only those methods which are needed for you. I need this human ears, so I will be keeping it. Run I don't require, so I will not keep it. Okay, so there can be many common features and common functionalities, but you will be keeping those which are needed for you only. Okay, so that's it. Now what I am doing, I am making this as a class, put an open bracket after dog and put a closing bracket after this and make this as the class. Okay, so now this has become your dog class. Okay, so let us convert it into the Java program. Now what should I do? So these are not required, so I'm just erasing it now. So I need the age and the name. So both are, you have to declare the data types for them. Now age can be taken in integers or it can be taken in double. So I am just taking in integers. And the name of the dog, I am taking it as a string. So these two are the instance variables that we have talked about. And what else we are having? We are having one method which is the conversion of the dog age into human years. So I am saying this is the method. This method is not taking any arguments. So I am just using parentheses over here and then an open bracket and then the body of the method and the close bracket. And this method should return a type. So it is not returning anything. So I am just writing as a void. Now we'll write the part inside this method. So what I am writing is, I am saying I am having a system.out.println statement and I am saying println and I am saying the dog. Okay, so the dog. Okay, so the name of the dog. I am giving the name of the dog over here. The name of the dog is there in the variable which is name. The name of the dog is there in this name. So I have said system.out.println the dog name. Okay, and now I will be calculating the age. So I said system.out.println and I am saying the dog's age is, okay, so the dog name age is, okay, so and then I am saying plus, now I am calculating the age. I say age into 7, okay, that's it. Okay, so that is there in this method. So this is the method and I haven't closed this particular class yet because I am having one more method. We'll see what is that method. Now just take a look at this particular program. So I am having some instance variables over here, age and name. So I haven't initialized these variables, and these variables, in case if I initialize, what happens? They will be same for all the objects. So for different objects, the values of age and name will be different. So you need a method to actually assign the values to these particular instance variables. One is through the constructor. Okay, so you can assign values or you can initialize them by using constructors. Assign values to the instance variables. Or the second one is by the setter methods. Okay, I am not discussing constructors over here because that's an elaborated topic. I will be making it as another video later. So here I am just using the setter method. What this setter method is used for? This setter method is used for assigning values to the instance variables. Okay, to the instance variables. Okay, I am doing that. So how to write your setter method? So it is also similar to your normal methods. So I am saying void and then I say set method. Okay, so I am saying set dog. Okay, so inside this I am taking in the two instance variables as arguments. Okay, so I say int age. Okay, I am taking one argument which will receive the values of age. So I said int a. And next I will be having another argument which will receive the dog's name. Okay, so which is n. Okay, so inside this I am saying age is equal to a and name is equal to n. What will happen is when this method is called upon an object, the object will be using this set dog method to actually set the values of the instance variables. Now I have two methods and two instance variables in my class. That's it. So the class is over. So after this, what you exactly have done is, you have created a blueprint. Okay, so this is just a blueprint and this is just a logical construct. And this is not reality, friends. Okay, so this is just a logical construct. By using this class, now we will see how to create objects. Now we will be creating instances in the driver class. So you need to have another class over here So in which there will be the main method. So I am saying class. So I am just simply saying the name of the class is test, and inside this I am writing the main method, so which is public static void main, public static void main, and the main method will take string args. Okay, string args. Okay, so inside the main method I'll be creating the object. So before creating the objects, let me tell you the general form of creating the object. The general form of creating the object is class name, okay, space, then the reference variable. The reference variable is equal to new, and then followed by the class name with the parenthesis and a semicolon. Okay, so let me explain you this. Okay, so this statement is used to create objects. This statement is used to create objects. Okay, right. So let us look into this. Now this is the class name. So we already know what is the class name. You will be putting over here, and this is the reference variable name. Okay, so this new is the new operator which is used to allocate memory, which is used to create the objects. This acts like your malloc and calloc functions in your C. Okay, so after allocation it will give the address. Okay, so it will give the address, and the address will be stored in the reference variable over here. Okay, so only this part will create the object for you. New operator will create the object for you. Where does the object create? The object will be created on the heap. Okay, so the object will be created on the heap, and the reference variable will be on the stack. The reference variable will be on the stack. Now class name, okay, so class name followed by parenthesis is called as the constructor. So after new you will be writing a constructor. Call to the constructor will be made. Okay, so you may ask me a question like, I haven't written a constructor in my class. Okay, even if you don't write constructor, you needn't worry, because JVM will create a default constructor and it will use that. Okay, so if you are not mentioning a constructor in your program, in your class, JVM will use the default constructor. It's not mandatory that you need to have a constructor in your program. So hope everybody understood this syntax. Now we'll try to create the object for the dogs class. Dog class. How many objects can you create? By using this you can use this multiple times to create multiple objects. I'll show you how that can be. So I said, like, first you have to write the name of the class. What is the name of the class? The name of the class is dog. So I'm writing dog over here. Now reference variable is your wish. Okay, so whatever is the name, like whatever is a valid identifier, you can have that. So I am saying that I am having a Pomeranian dog. So I am giving the breed as the reference name. So I am saying Pomeranian. Okay, so dog Pomeranian. This is the reference variable name. It can be A, it can be B, it can be OB, OB1, etc. Whatever you want. It can be any identifier, valid identifier. Okay, so I said dog Pomeranian is equal to new. Okay, so followed by the name of the class and a parenthesis, which is nothing but your constructor. Remember that the name of the constructor is the name of the class followed by parenthesis. So by doing this, what happens is there will be object created in your memory and the address will be given to Pomeranian. So Pomeranian is the reference variable which will be holding the address of the object. This can be written in 2 steps also. Okay, so rather than writing it in 1 step, you can also write it in 2 steps. Say I can simply write a dog Pomeranian, okay, and a semicolon, and then I can say new dog. Okay, Pomeranian is equal to new dog. So I have done it in 2 steps. Okay, so the first step I said dog Pomeranian, and then I said Pomeranian is equal to new dog. Now what happens is this 2 steps is equal to this 1 step. But what happens here we'll be seeing. I have just created a reference variable of dog type. I haven't created the object. So listen to me very carefully. In this particular step, no object is created. no object is created, no memory is allocated. Memory is allocated only with the new operator. Okay, so no object is created. Now what will be the value inside Pomeranian? So inside Pomeranian, the value will be null. Okay, so the value will be null because it is not holding anything at present. Okay, so no memory is allocated and nothing is given. And if you try to use this Pomeranian in your program, you will get a compile time error. Okay, so you will get a compile time error. So be careful to not use this Pomeranian because the object is just a reference variable. No object is created. And the objects are created during runtime. So these objects are created during runtime. Okay, so they are created during runtime by using new. So as soon as it encounters a new, what happens is it will create memory for dog and then assign the reference to the Pomeranian reference keyword. Now at this particular step, what happens we will see. Okay, so at this particular step, we are having a reference variable on stack which is Pomeranian, and this will be referring to the dog. Okay, so which is having some instance variables like age and what? Name. Okay, so this is my actual dog object. Okay, so this is my actual dog object which is actually on heap, and there is some address to this, and this address is stored in this Pomeranian. Okay, so that happens. Now actually real object is created and it is created during runtime, and now you can use this Pomeranian wherever you want. Now this Pomeranian can be used in your program wherever you want. Like this you can create n number of objects. So this is how the objects are created, my friends. Now we'll try to create two more objects. Okay, so let us create two more objects. So I am saying dog Maltese is equal to new dog. Okay, dog German Shepherd, new dog. Okay, so how many objects we have created? We have created 3 objects of dog type. Okay, so remember this, we have created 3 objects of this dog type. That's what is called as a user defined data type. Okay, your class is called as user defined data type. Why we are telling it? For example, for primitive data types, what we are saying, int a. So this is the type and this is the reference variable. This is the variable name. In the same way, what we are doing, we are saying dog and then we are saying some German Shepherd or whatever. So this is nothing but your user defined data type. Okay, class is the user defined data type. How many objects we have created? We have created 3 objects. We'll create one more object. So I'm saying dog poodle is equal to new dog. So I have created 4 dogs from the blueprint. Okay, so from this blueprint I have created 4 dogs over here, and each and every object will have its own age and name. For example, for the we'll be calling the set dog method. We'll call the set dog method for Pomeranian. I'll show you how to set the values for the Pomeranian. I can simply say Pomeranian dot the name of the method, which is a set dog, and I have to give the age. Okay, so what is the age? So I am saying the age of the Pomeranian dog is 5, and then I am giving a name to it. So I am saying, simply saying that the name of the dog is Snoopy. Okay, so this is how I am calling the method of the class by an object, by a specific object. Okay, so on a specific object. So I am calling this the set dog method on Pomeranian. So for the Pomeranian, the values of age and name will be 5 and Snoopy. So let us call it on another object. So I am saying Maltese dot set dog. So set dog is equal to, say, 10 years, and then the name of this dog is Tom. So I am saying Tom. Okay, so now the values of age and name for this Maltese is different. Okay, so that's why they are called as instance variables. and instance variables are stored on heap. Okay, and for the German Shepherd, I am saying German gs dot set dog, and I am saying the age of this is 7 years, and the name of this is Cruise. Okay, it's not Tom Cruise. Okay, so I am saying Cruise, and then I am saying Poodle. Okay, so Poodle dot set dog, and I am saying the age is only 1 year, and I am saying its name is Rook. Okay, so I'm saying the name of this is Rook. Okay, right, I'm putting it in double quotes. So see friends, like for each and every, from this blueprint we have created 4 objects. You can create any number of objects, but I have created 4 objects where each and every object is having its own values for the instance variables. Okay, so I hope everybody understood this. Okay, so now we'll call the human ears on the particular object. How to do that? It's again similar to that. I'm saying Pomeranian. So this is the object name. Dot, I am saying the name of the method. What is the name of the method? Human ears. So I am saying Pomeranian dot human ears. Simply I am just calling the method on the object. In the same way I am saying Maltese dot human ears. Human ears. And I am saying gs dot human ears. Okay, I am saying Poodle dot human ears. Okay, so this is the closing of your main and this is the closing of your driver class. So this is the entire program friends. Okay, so you can just make out that we have created a dog class, and for each and every instance variables we are having the separate instances for each and every object. For Pomeranian you are having different age and name. For Maltese you are having different age and name, and for GS you are having different age and name. That's why they are called as instance variables related to your object. We'll see the output of this particular program. So when the execution starts at the main, okay, after that 4 objects are created, and once these 4 objects are created, now what happened? We are calling the set dog method by passing 5 and Snoopy into it. So this set dog method will be called on the object Pomeranian. Okay, so so control will come over here, and for A the value is 5 and for N it is Snoopy. So what happens? The values are set 5 and Snoopy on what? On Pomeranian dog. For the Pomeranian dog, this is the object. Okay, so this is the Pomeranian dog. The age is 5 and the name is Snoopy. So this is how it is stored. And again we are calling it on Maltese. So now the values are 10 and then we are saying Tom. So what happened? So these are called on the object Maltese. Okay, so what are the values of age and all that? It is 10 and Tom. And you are having, again we called we called the method on another object, which is German Shepherd. So the values are 7 and Cruise. So this is for the German Shepherd, and we are saying Cruise. And then we are having another dog, which is Poodle, and the age is 1 and the name is Rook. Okay, so this is how it is created, my friends. Okay, so this and all will happen at this particular 4 steps. Now we are calling the human ears method on Pomeranian. So what happens? It will take this 2 values and print it on the screen. So the output will be the dog Snoopy, because the name of the dog is Snoopy. So the dog Snoopy age is 5 into 7, which is 35. So the dog Snoopy age is 35. Okay, and we have called it on Maltese now. Okay, so Maltese dot human ears. Now these 2 values will be taken into consideration. So it will say the dog Tom age is 10 into 7, which is 70. Okay, so this is how the values will be printed on the screen. So after writing this program, Okay, so if you want to check, name it as test.java. Okay, compile it as Java C test.java and then run it as Java test. Okay, so once you do that, this output will be printed on the screen. So I hope everybody understood the concept of classes and objects, my friends.